Hey guys, all right, so we're on to part 2 video for the 7.2 notes, okay? So at this point, you should have already done a full T-chart and set up your circled numbers on every problem on the practice. If you haven't done that yet, please do that first before we add on the box part, okay? All right. If you're ready for the box part, that means you're a pro already and you know how to do the T. So you know where my numbers are coming from. I'm going to take 1 times 21. That's going to give me 21. I'm listing out all my factors. 1 and 21, negative 1, negative 21. 3 and 7, negative 3, negative 7. And I'm looking for the pair that adds up to 10. We got it, okay? So here's the new part of the information I need you to know. We are going to do a Punnett square backwards. So think about when you're making your answers on the last test. You always put the first term here. You always got the last term from here. And your middle part was from combining like terms, right? All right, so now we're going to use that to go backwards. I'm going to look back up here at my original problem, and I'm going to take that first term, be x squared, and I'm going to put him in that first box. So x squared. I'm going to take my last term, that plus 21, and I'm going to put him in the last box. And the pink part is not 10x. I can't put 10x in there because 10x is a combination. It's combining like terms. So instead, what I'm going to do is put my t answers in the diagonal. So I'm going to have a 3 and a 7, but I got to make sure that I put them with an x because you have to have 3x plus 7x to combine and make that 10x. Are you with me? Okay. Once you have that pieces of information, now you're ready to make your answers, okay? So we're going to use that same idea of a GCF, and we're going to be trying to figure out what can I write, let me change colors, what can I put on the outside of these boxes that could make that inside Punnett square, okay? So let's see if we can piece that together. What would have to multiply here and here to make an x squared? Well, hopefully you realize that that's just an x and an x. X and x makes x squared. So what would that x have to multiply with here to make a 7x? Well, I'm going to need there to be a 7. It's a positive, so I'm going to use plus 7. Down here on the bottom, what would I need in this position so that this x could multiply to make 3x? Well, I would need it to be a 3. Again, it's going to be a positive, so I'm going to write plus 3. And we always want to go back and check this last guy. Does 3 times 7 make 21? Yes. So when I get the outside pieces of my box, now we're ready to write our answers. I'm going to take this guy and put him in my first parenthesis, x plus 3. I'm going to take this guy up here and bring him down to the second parenthesis, x plus 7. When you get to the double parentheses, you are done. That's a final answer. If you need to pause it, listen to it again, or write it down, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, I'll meet you on the second page. All right, we're going to be going over 2 separate problems on this page, but I'm going to do the one on the left first, okay? So the one on the left is 4x squared minus 15x plus 9. If you've already done all the T-charts, then you know how to set up these problems. 4 times 9 is 36. I'm going to list out all my numbers. There are a lot for this problem, so stay with me. 1 and 36, it's positive, so they're the same. Negative 1, negative 36. 2 and 18, negative 2, negative 18. There's a lot more. Keep staying with me. 3 and 12, negative 3, negative 12. 4 and 9, negative 4, negative 9. Oops, negative 9. We're still got some numbers to check. So does 5 go into 36? Nope, but 6 does. 6 and 6, or negative 6, negative 6. Okay? If you're like me and you ran out of space, maybe rewrite it, make the rest of your numbers over here, that's fine too, but we want to make room on our box to still work, okay? All right, so I'm hunting in my problem. I'm looking for which pair adds up to this guy. So which pair adds up to a negative 15? Well, this one's negative 20, so it's not that guy. This one's negative 13. This one's negative 12. So it needs to be this guy. If you want to check that, -3 plus a -12 should equal -15. Okay, that's what you're hoping to see. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my first term in my first box. Okay, that's the 4x squared. Again, that came right down from here. I'm going to put my last term in my last box. So again, comes way down from the problem. I'm putting plus 9 down here in my boxes. For my like terms, I can't put -15. I need to put my table numbers. So that -3 and -12, I'm putting -3 in the box, -12 in the box, but I'm making sure that they have an x with them. Okay, it's very important that you put the x's with them. Okay, all right, this box is a little bit trickier, so I'm going to zoom in. We can't just do x times x because we're trying to make a 4. So I'm going to put a couple numbers up here, and I want to kind of show you how you would talk through this. Let's say I think there needs to be a 4 here. Okay, would this 4x be able to multiply in to make this -3 down here? 4 times nothing makes a -3, which means that 4 can't go there. Okay, maybe you're thinking it could be a 2 times 2. Can 2 multiply by something to make a 3? No. So that 2 can't go there. Our only other option is to do 4 and a 1. Okay, so let's check it. Can 1 times something make a -3? Yes. Can 4 times something make this -12? Yes. So now we need their pieces. What did that 4 need as his partner up here to make what we want? Well, he would need a -3. He already has the x. He just needs to make a -12. What would the 1 up top need to make his number? Well, he would need a -3 also. He already has the x. He just needs the number. Our last step is to make sure that our numbers make the right last box. Does -3 times -3 make a +9? Yes, it does. So when I have that, now I'm going to take my first parenthesis, put him in here, 4x minus 3. I'm going to take my second top part and put it in my second parenthesis, 1x minus 3. That's a final answer. Okay? All right, we're going to do one more. Go back up to the top. And we're going to look at this problem. So here, we don't have a middle number. So I need you to be aware that because there's no x's, our middle number is 0. Okay? So let's go ahead and work through this one. Looks like we're doing 9 times a -25 makes -225. Now that's a big number, and that's okay. We're going to go through it one at a time, okay? All right, so we're starting 1 and a -225. Remember, the signs need to be different because the top number is negative. So -1, +225. All right, it is not going to be divisible by 2 because it's not even. Okay, so let's see if it's divisible by 3. All right, it is. We're going to do -75, -3 and 75. Okay, is it divisible by 4? Nope, it's not even. What about 5? Yep, all right, so it looks like we got 5 times 45. Okay, that 45 is negative. -5 times 45. It's not divisible by 6 or by 7 or by 8. It's divisible by 9. So we got 9 and -25. -9 and 25. We're still doing okay. So we're checking 10, 13, 14, 15 works also. So 15 and -15. I can't switch them because it's already the same. All right, so that's our full T-chart. If you are looking on this problem, you want your numbers to add up to 0. So basically you need them to cancel. Which numbers, if we added them together, would cancel out? Hopefully you see that last pair down here, 15 and -15. So those are the numbers we're going to use as we put them into our box. We're going to take that 15, that's a positive, and that -15 and put them into our diagonals with the x's. Our first term, way up at the top, 9x squared. he's going to go in our first box. And that last term, negative 25, he's going to go in our last box. Now it's time to make our numbers work. Okay? We definitely know we need an x and an x, but we don't know if we need a 9 and a 1 or if we need a 3 and a 3. So let's check. If I put 9 here, can it go into 15? No, that's not going to work. It can't go here because that wouldn't make 15 either. All right, so 9 and 1 are not going to work for us. What about 3? Can I put a 3x to make negative 15? Yep. Can I put a 3 up top to make positive 15? Yes. So once I know both of those work, let's see if we can find our partners. 3 would need a negative 5 to make a negative 15. 3 up top would need a positive 5 to make a positive 15x. So the last question is, does positive 5 and negative 5 make negative 25? And the answer is yes, that does work. Once I have my two pieces, we are ready to put them in parentheses. The left side goes in the first parenthesis. The right side goes in the right parenthesis. Okay, take a second, pause it if you need to, and we're going to talk about what the homework problems look like. Perfect. So if you have already done the first video and you've already worked on the first part of the assignment, your first problem already has this much, okay? So your next step would be to take your first terms and put them in your first boxes. Take whatever numbers you got off of your T-chart and put them in the second boxes with the X's. Your job is to try and figure out what goes here and here so that you can write out a final answer with double parentheses, okay? If you have any questions over what you're doing, ask your table partner or ask somebody that sits near you. But this right here is what your answers should look like, okay? I am here after school. If you have any questions, please come see me. Otherwise, you're finishing 7.2 practice.